All right, greetings from the Siemens booth at Hannover Messe 2026. We're talking about software-defined automation. And Matthias, give us a brief overview. You know, most plant manager still think of automation as hardware, specific PLC cabinets. In simple terms, what does software-defined automation actually change about that?
Good question. So the good news is hardware is here to stay. So generally, we think of software-defined automation as an approach where we virtualize or where we bring IT and software development methods and methodologies into the world of industrial automation. This doesn't mean that hardware goes away. We still will have IOs, drives, motors, and so on the shop floor as periphery or as actual actuators or as any type of system that is bound to electrical and physical needs. The other thing is the compute. So where we have the logic, where we have the control running. This shifts to IPCs, this shifts to generalized compute. This shifts to sometimes more centralized, sometimes more decentralized compute. So this is where we see a shift in terms of on the hardware side, on the PLC side, on the control side of things. And also software-defined automation is about the engineering. The engineering shifts from being predefined tool chains that have predefined workflows to an open engineering tool chain that you can adapt, that you can manipulate, that you can modularize to your needs with a package management system, with API first. So using APIs to connect with various third-party owned and Siemens solutions to make your engineering workflow more efficient and to be ready to deploy AI, both on the shop floor and in your engineering tool chain.
Yeah, thank you for that background information on how we do it traditional versus with a software-defined. Now, software-defined automation, as you alluded to, has multiple layers to it. When a manufacturer comes to Siemens and say, we want to win, or what does they even come? What do they ask for? Do they want a software-defined or where do they actually start? What does part of the transition takes the longest as well?
So I think it depends on the company itself. So our customers come with various needs and questions to us. So for example, we have customers asking us to, how can I centralize my compute? Because I want to run AI solutions as well. I want to have a data center close by to my production. And then we offer a possibility with this S7-1500 virtual PLC, basically a virtual representation of our traditional tried and tested hardware PLCs that we provide for our customers, also for the safety version. But then on the other hand, there are customers that want to explore more data applications, more AI applications. They can also run on the same software infrastructure, being industrial edge, whether it is deployed decentralized on the shop floor directly on IPCs or in a rack or even on a server infrastructure. The other part that we see is customers that approach it from the engineering side of things, as I alluded to. They want to have a more modular approach to engineering itself rather than the existing one, where they are having the options to add third-party tools, where they have the option to plug and play with different solutions through an API-first approach, or even add AI at a fingertip.
We got it. Now, we're standing here in hall 27. There's an entrance. There may be a plant manager, there may be an automation manager walking through and has 10 minutes at a booth. What is the one thing you want them to see and why?
The one thing, I think all of our booth, but I think we're standing right here. Here's where the heartbeat of the innovation happens. So this is where we believe the future is happening. In the Innovation Hub where we're standing right now, we want to show how tomorrow's industry is powered by industrial AI. And we believe that industrial AI is the major transformational shift that we are seeing in industry right now. And to really scale industrial AI, you need software-defined automation or a software-defined systems approach. So you need to have the flexibility and the abstraction from the hardware to really scale AI at an operational level in manufacturing or in production.
Thank you, Matthias. Now, I want to close with one question. There may be some engineers that worry about software-defined automation that eventually will remove them, the need for their skill. Is that feel wrong, or is there some truth to it?
I would say roles in any industry always change. If we looked in past industries, also automation, we had a change from physical rewiring to then pushing more and more tasks into the software. Now we're seeing an additional shift. So I wouldn't necessarily say that we see a replacement of any person. What we see is that the job itself shifts towards a more orchestrative approach, towards a more architectural approach. If you think of plant orchestration, also from an engineering perspective, it shifts from being a person that writes the code or the applications to a more person that looks at the standardization of the code base and then uses agents and co-pilots to work with them to generate more efficient, more flexible, and more adaptive solutions for their automation solutions.
So just to double click that, you use the term orchestration. What does that mean for an automation engineer?
I would say orchestration has two layers again. If you think about orchestration for the shop floor, this is like a future thing we show here together with Accenture, for example, where we orchestrate and adapt the shop floor that produces adaptive products. This, I think, from a perspective, is a decision that an AI can take. It depends on the decision if you have a human in the loop or not, but an AI can take to make your life easier. So, for example, scheduling, starting a nesting job. That's standard tasks you normally would put after each other if you have always the same product. Now, if you always have individualized products, many more steps needed to be done. So this is kind of the orchestration level that we need to address.
Matthias, thank you so much and good luck with the Hannover Messe fair.
Thank you very much, and see you in Hanover or on any of the other fairs.